Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we are playing a deck list from one of the top 64 players from Paupergeddon last week. There were a couple deck lists that really interested me, and so we're going to be trying out a few of those. Starting with this Wildfire list that features Fungal Colossus as one of its win cons instead of playing Gixian Infiltrator. That's what it's called. So Fungal Colossus is a 5/5 for 7, very much like a Terror, although obviously not quite as good. But it costs X less to cast, where X is the number of differently named lands you control. Wildfire is a deck that already plays a fair number of different lands, so it shouldn't be too hard to make this cost 3 or even 2 mana, maybe 1 if we get really lucky in the very late game. And then it's just a 5/5 for really cheap, which allows us to also play a bunch of other removal or card draw or whatever in the same turn. So we have pretty much the same mana base as we would usually have with, I guess let me not get rid of this, but just move it over here for now. With 4 Dross Forge Bridge, 4 Slagwoods Bridge, we're playing 4 Twisted Landscapes, 2 Vault of Whispers, and then of course our basic land package. However, because Fungal Colossus just cares about the name of the land, Snow-Covered Forest and Snow-Covered Swamp are differently named lands, so we're playing a couple of those. We still haven't changed the ratio of basics. We have 1 mountain, 2 forests, 3 swamps. You could always swap a swamp for another mountain, so you could do a snow-covered mountain and have a little bit more name diversity, but this deck is pretty hungry for black mana often, and searching for those from the Cleansing Wildfires is pretty important often. So I understand why we're doing that. So yeah, we're at 20 lands. I will say, look, this is a deck list that I wanted to try, but I've played a lot of Wildfire, and I generally prefer 21 lands. And with Fungal Colossus, I feel like playing an extra land is even better, and I also like to have a Bojuka Bog in this deck, so I'm going to make a quick switch, figure out what to cut real quick. I think we're going to cut one of these Galvanic Blasts, maybe. So they were running 3 Galvanic Blasts, 3 Cast Down as a nice removal package. Often the deck just plays like 4 Cast Down. I kind of like the split, but because I do want to fit in an extra land, I just know that I'm going to have to mulligan so many times if we don't. So I'm just going to make that change now for my own sake. But anyway, so removal, cast down, Galvanic Blast, and of course makeshift munitions. For our ramp, we have the Wildfires, and we have a whole bunch of card draw in, interestingly, 4 Lembas, 2 Wellspring instead of the other way around. Now, obviously, Wellspring combos better with Fanatical Offering and Eviscerator's Insight. There was so much mono red madness at the event that I assume Lembas was a way to hedge against that, anticipating quite a bit of red, so that there's more life gains. So we're just going to try this out. There's been plenty of mono red madness on MTGO as well, so it shouldn't be bad there either. And then, of course, we have a couple Blood Fountains and Nile Spell Bombs. For the sideboard, Thorn of the Black Rose, 2 Fairy Macabre, 4 Breath Weapons, and that's partially because we're not playing any Krark Clan Shamans in the main deck here, which is also partially why we have a little bit more removal in the Galvanics and the Cast Downs. And why Gixian would be less good in this version of the deck. And then we have 1 of Nyxborn Hydra in the sideboard, 1 of Avenging Hunter, 4 Weather the Storms, and 2 Troublemaker Oofs. So I'm really interested to see how this list plays out. Let's just take it for League and see how we do. All right, round 1 here. We have, a pretty reasonable hand. Obviously a little bit more black mana than we would generally want, but Landscape can find another color of mana. We can get down an early Refurb, Wellspring, or whatever. Not early Refurb, honestly, because of the lands here, but okay, another Refurb. They have a Delver of Secrets, so we're against Terror, and Refurbs are going to be good against the Delver, though. Maybe you should have just played the Landscape to sacrifice that right away. I don't necessarily know what color of mana I want to pull out yet, though, so I do think there's some merit to waiting. They have a Boomerang. They might just Boomerang our land now, but since it's not a tap land, it's not as enticing. We're going to play Wellspring. Hope it doesn't get countered, but it certainly might. They Brainstorm first, and then Mental Note, Boomerang, and Piracy Charm away. Galvanic Blast. Not going to be the best in this matchup, although if I already had my red mana, and then I could blast this, that would be definitely a nice option, but that's okay. They Thought Scour again, so they could play some Terrors for 1 mana. Okay, Cryptic Serpent, not as bad as just a Terror. There's a Wildfire. I think we're playing Refurb to block here, and then playing Landscape so we can get red mana. Discard an island. Sleep of the Dead. Alright, a little annoying. Loved your breakdown of the Pauper Tournament. Breakdown of the meta. Finals was super interesting and well explained. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I was wanting to know more about the tournament, and I saw quite a few other people in like the subreddit and whatnot posting about, I feel like we don't have enough information on this, and I was like, well, I guess I'll take it upon myself to be the one to find that information. So I'm glad it was well received. Video was great. I'd love to see that for future Paupergeddons. Based on the reception, everyone seemed to enjoy it. I will certainly be doing that for future Paupergeddons. Of course, we have 4 months to wait in between each one. All right, we're in some trouble here. Sleep of the Dead's going to kill us. I could draw 3. Even if I could find, like, another refurb, I could play both of those. They could tap 1 down. We're going to die. I could cast down 1 Serpent. That's not enough. I don't think there's anything we can find here. I think we're just dead. Yeah. All right. Well, we get... What do we get? Nothing. Okay, Fairy Macabre for Sleep of the Dead, I guess. But otherwise, we don't have much. We do have the spell bombs in the main deck. Munitions is not very good here. Hydra's fine. I guess, is this a match for Avenging Hunter or Thorn of the Black Rose? I mean, they don't have the most creatures, so it seems okay. I guess we have our own 5/5, so we just didn't see any. And our mana was a little awkward, so maybe these will just be good enough. Cut like 1 Galvanic here. We'll just try that. Alright. A little awkward. No artifact lands. Refurbs are crazy expensive, but we have our Colossus, which could be 4 mana, and we have a Bojuka Bog, which can set him back a little bit. I guess we'll give this one a go. I am in a similar spot to last time, though. I don't really know what to get with the landscape. Obviously green for the Colossus here, but most of our deck is actually red. Not 100% sure. What's up, Ben? How's it going? They just pass. Guess. Let's see. Let's take a look at the deck real quick. Green is just for Chrysalis or Colossus. Red is for Wildfire. Just Wildfire or Galvanic. I guess it's not that many more. And we need Bridge anyway, and bridges are all red. So yeah, let's just grab green here. Oh, and we get another landscape, so it doesn't really matter. I'll play that so we can get access to red mana, I suppose. Played against this list yesterday. Okay. Yeah, it seemed pretty cool. Wanted to try it out. Thoughts on Colossus as a beater versus Gixian Infiltrator? It just seems worse IMO. Well, that is why I'm trying it out. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's interesting enough to try. And obviously it did well enough to get into the top 64, but there were also obviously some Gixian Infiltrator builds that got into the top 64 of Paupergeddon. I mean, I would suspect it's probably worse, but that doesn't mean that there's no merit to it, because it could be good and it could be better in certain matchups, or it could just be more fun. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. This is pretty awkward for sure. Not really the jump start you want. Yeah, obviously, like if this was a Gixian Infiltrator, I could have played it already. It wouldn't be doing much more than just attacking for 2, which would be better, but I also have no way to like grow it in the hand. They thought Scour Away, 3 spells engraved. There's a Delver. I mean, here I can Bojuka Bog and then Colossus, although Colossus gets counterspelled here. Blood Fountain. So I can Blood Fountain. If they counter it, I can just Bojuka Bog. If they don't, I can get a Refurb down. I think I'd rather not just run out of Colossus for like not a lot of gain here, and for still quite expensive. Any low cost efficient beater would probably work out fine against alongside Refurb and Chrysalis. Yes, I would agree. I think you can play, like, you can take 52 or 56 cards of a deck that is very well established and just great, and you can swap out, 4 or 8 cards and play your own version. And yeah, it might not be better, but like, if it's better for your meta, your local meta, or just what you anticipate on MTGO, it could be different and cool. Yeah, obviously it could be worse, but like, I think people don't experiment enough with just swapping a few cards from the established lists. Delver does not flip, so they top decked an island or a creature, and they played an island here. Like Biograph could probably do okay. Yeah, I mean, Groff has to sacrifice a creature, so to be cheap, which isn't great, just because there's not quite enough creatures. Like if this deck played Colony Garden or something, I could see that. But, I think you'd be playing it for 5 mana more often than not, so it's not great. But yeah, it'd probably be fine. The deck would still function decently. So I could play a 2-mana Colossus here that just gets countered probably. I think I'll just run out one of our refurbs. Yeah, Chris into Groff would definitely be a decent play for sure. Honestly, as many Eldrazi spawn as there are in Gruul monsters at this point, between Repurposers, Malevolent Rumbles, and Chrysalis, it could be kind of an interesting one to try out by Groff in that list. Of course, it also just ramps into enormous creatures that it doesn't really need the cheaper creature, but I feel like Colossus is better to draw on turn 8. Gixian is better in the starting hand. Yeah, I think that's generally going to be the case for... Yeah, your 2 drops are going to be better earlier, but I would agree with that for sure. Colossus doesn't need the synergies of the deck, but Gixian can obviously get bigger as you do have those. All right, we get a Chris, and then we can still play a Refurb for 3 mana. We only have 1 green, so I can't also play the Colossus, even if I wanted to, but now they can't really block or they can't really attack into our blockers, which is nice. They also just didn't have a counterspell for the Chrysalis, which I assume means they don't have one. Discard a Spell Pierce. All right. And we take that game. I mean, we had a bad hand. They didn't do great either, but honestly, I think the Bajuka Bog just did a lot of work for us. Yeah, we both we both had pretty rough hands for sure. Got to be some way to get Snacker into Jund. Yeah, I mean, we have 2 ways to discard it with these Blood Fountains, right? I mean, that would probably be the ultimate trifecta of Modern Horizons 3 creatures. I think Refurb, Chrysalis, Snacker are the 3 best creatures from that set. That sound looks reasonable. Just play all the top creatures. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you could, if you were playing those. The problem is you'd need other things you want to discard probably, because like you could play those and just play like Grab the Prize, or you could play, actually Melded Moxite would probably be a decent one for this deck. You could maybe play Voldaren Epicures, but you'd need to have something more than just Snacker that you'd really want to discard, I think, for it to be decent. We're going to hope we don't get Boomeranged or Steel Sabotaged here, but the hand looks like it can cast a Fungal Colossus for pretty cheap on turn 4 or 5, and we just have Lembas and Offering. They do flip the Aberration with a Brainstorm, and yep, they do Steel Sabotage. Really annoying. I guess we're just going to discard one of these. It feels like Snacker's in at 50% of decks now with Abandoned Attachments. Yeah, I think Abandoned Attachments is kind of a cool card. It is the type of effect that blue could get, so I think it's cool and makes sense, and I like colors getting new abilities, but I'd rather not, like, if that card was printed in every color, if we just had a 2-mana Tormenting Voice, we'd probably have a Sneaky Snacker in every single deck, and I don't love that or think it's necessary. Because of the Sabotage, we're pretty far behind. I kind of feel like I need to Cleansing Wildfire to ramp here, and if they have another Sabotage that they're sandbagging, well, I got pretty good. Or they could just like Hydroblast it, but okay, that works. Do I want more black? Because I can grab my Snow Covered. Probably. Sure, we'll do that. I could play a Colossus next turn for 3 mana. Yeah, I don't know. Snacker on red decks is the problem, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, you're saying Snacker because it's a blue-black card being in red decks. I mean, that's true. That's been the case since it was printed. It's just that now we're getting it also in blue decks. So now it's in just about any red deck, just about any blue deck could play it. Yeah, it's a lot for sure. We're at 8, so yeah, we couldn't even cast a Chris if we got it. I guess Refurb would have been a Restaurant. We're pretty much dead, though, I think. I guess we Lembas to try to find Refurb. If Lembas and Refurb resolves, we could be okay. I have to play one of these to be able to play a Refurb, so I'm not going to hold up Spell Pierce. Like mana for Spell Pierce, which means we're probably going to get got by it or just a counterspell, but what are you going to do? Thought Scour. Us. Okay. They do mill a Refurb. Vault of Whispers, not what we need. Hey, we do hit it. Okay. Let's see. I mean, I'm playing one of these bridges. I'm just trying to decide, because it's unfortunate. If I play the Slagwoods bridge, I have double green for these guys, but it also doesn't reduce their cost, which means I couldn't play 2 of them anyway, so I might as well do this. Okay, we could survive here if they don't have anything else. Oh, they do have an Artful Dodge in the graveyard. Currently, that doesn't matter too much, as long as they can't get rid of this with like a Sleep of the Dead Boomerang. All right, down to 5, but we have a Lembas. Hi, this Colossus seems very clunky, but it does have potential upside with Reckoner's Bargain. Yeah, that is a good point. Playing it kind of as a Mirror Enforcer in that way. I agree. It definitely seems like it can be a little clunky, but yeah, Reckoner's Bargain could be interesting. Swapping like a couple of the offerings for those. Look at this though, 2 mana Fungal Colossus on turn 5. How's that bad? You wrote that it's from Paupergeddon. Do you know how well it placed? It was in top 64, so I can't remember exactly. I think it was like 30th, 40th, something like that, but top 64 for sure. I was curious how this deck felt compared to Stocklist, as I was thinking of bringing it to locals this week. Well, we are in match 1, so I'm not exactly sure how it feels at the moment, but I'm sure we'll figure that out. It has felt a little clunky with these so far. Like, if they were Gixian Infiltrators, I could have had them down by now. We could have been racing them quite a bit. They could be just about as big. But also, if they had boomerangs, which we've seen some, then they could bounce them. We'd lose all our counters. So there's like a downside there. I think we're cracking this Lembas for life gain, because I can't, like, it gains us a turn. I can't really afford to Offering it. And if we got like a Wellspring or something, I'd rather to Offering that. Crack this Landscape for Mountain. Think 49th. Okay, sounds about right. Wildfire. So we can make the Colossus 1 mana here by getting a forest, draw Blood Fountain, swing for 5, cast this. Blood Fountain could be really good if we can recur our refurbs, of which we have 2 because they milled 1 earlier. Okay, that does resolve. We have a shot here. I mean, we can deal them 10 damage this next turn potentially. They could put us to 2 here, but we can buy back 2 refurbs, which they can't do much about. Oh, but they still have the Artful Dodge from before. So we have to find another Lembas, actually, or we're going to die. That's good to keep in mind. Gonna blood token away a land here. Yeah, so we got to find life gain or removal. Refurb is not good enough. So let's go Wellspring Offering to draw a bunch. Spell Bomb. That could take care of the Artful Dodge, but now we don't have the mana to Blood Fountain. And they have a Dispel, which means I would need to top deck a Refurb, but I actually didn't leave up the black mana to do that. That's a bit unfortunate. So I guess I have to Fanatical Offering and hit... We also didn't see a single Chrysalis. I have to hit a Refurb plus our last Swamp, or a Vault of Whispers, and then I can Spellbomb away the Artful Dodge, because now we don't have the mana for a Lembas either. And they could have obviously just have another counterspell, which they do. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. We had so many outs. Like, if we'd drawn the Spellbomb just a little earlier, Force Spike, sure. We're dead either way. Like, we had 4 Chrysalis, 2 more Refurbs. If we'd found the Spellbomb earlier, then we could have still done the Blood Fountain route. We had 3 Cast Downs, and we had 4 Lembas. We had like 15 outs. But we could not find one, unfortunately. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. All right, here we go again. On the play, Sand's really awkward. We can't reliably cast anything. If we just had one Lembas or Wildfire, I'd keep it, but does not seem very good. This one's got 1 land, so that's not going to cut it either. Yeah, sure, we'll keep this one. Get rid of the munitions, and looks like we are playing at least 1 bargain here. Oh yeah, look at that. I had blanked on it. We're playing 3 bargains, 3 offerings, and an insight. So that's to go with that. I guess I'm getting rid of the cast down and just trying to keep the proactive stuff. Not sure that's right, but this lets us play a 2 mana refurb and then have a bargain for it. There's an Epicure. Cast the refurb, discard a Snacker. We have Spellbomb for it, but I don't really want to crack it this early when I don't have the ability to draw a card off of it. Oh, looks like it's Rakdos. Having 3 bargains is definitely a lovely upside. Yeah, I would agree. This list definitely seemed to be built to try to counter the Mono Red Madness deck because of the 3 bargains, and we're playing 4 Lembas, 2 Wellspring instead of the other way around, which I'm not sure how I feel about that at the moment, but definitely more life gain is good against the burn opponents. We've drawn all swamps here. I'm just going to hold up Spellbomb / bargain. Probably end up Spellbombing the Snacker away and then bargaining the refurb, but we'll see. Cast the Highway Robbery. By the way, I found the list and I confirm they got 49th with a 10-4 record. Yeah, not bad at all. Very nice. Highway Robbery pitches Kitchen Imp, gets back the Snacker, or at least tries to. We're going to prevent that. All right. Bridge is a decent draw. In a 1,000-player event, 1,000-player 2-day event, I'd say they did okay. Yeah, I agree. That's why I think any list who made top 64 definitely did pretty well. Another Epicure. Yeah, so I'm going to bargain the Familiar here to try to hit removal, more lands, etc. I probably shouldn't have attacked with it because there wasn't a ton of reason, and I could have at least blocked... Well, not knowing about the Kitchen Imp, we could have blocked 1 damage. Knowing about it, obviously 2. Lembas is good. We're probably playing the Slagwoods Bridge, but might as well Lembas to see if we find another refurb I could cast. Forest lets us get the Chrysalis next turn guaranteed. That's probably worthwhile. So we're just going to play that. Bit unfortunate we had so much black mana, because if we had just a red, we could Galvanic Blast the Kitchen Imp, prevent a little bit more damage. Plus, I could have not kept the Forest and dug for something else. Sazikep's Brew, pitching another Kitchen Imp. No gift, so we're going to be taking 6 here down to 11. Alright, another Lembas. So we do get to play Chris and hold up, hold up a Lembas activation. We just have blockers for a bunch of guys. Pitch a Fiery Temper. And another Fiery Temper. Hopefully our Lembuses can keep us afloat a little bit here. They do swing out, so block. I think we're just going to block everything. Try to take as little damage as possible. Like, I could just block one of the Epicures, because I already have a black mana here for the Lembas, so I could preserve a spawn. But then if we just die by, like, 1 damage, I'm going to feel a little silly. So up to 8, down to 6, 5 with the Barons. Lembas, another Lembas. I'll keep that. I think to try to survive, though, I should crack this Lembas right away. And we have Galvanic Blast up. So if they swing out, block Galvanic, I'll just take 1, which they do. I guess technically I should just block here, because I can kill the imp either way. And by blocking here, it does open this up to getting, like, Fiery Tempered or Lightning Bolted. Obviously, I'm more worried about me getting burned out, but just... that makes sense. They didn't do anything. Okay, that's great. Stabilizing. I think I'm just going to play and crack another Lembas. I'll see what I draw first, because if I get like a Chrysalis, I could play that and then also crack the Lembas. Another Lembas. Okay, play another one of those. So nice when you turn the corner on those burn decks. I agree. Refurb. I can play that along with one of my Lembases. They could just have a bunch of Madness spells, so I could be helping them. But if they do, they have the mana to cast them anyway. Like, they could Fiery Temper, and then Alms of the Vein or something on untap. So I don't think it changes too much. And it does still give us a blocker and make them lose a card. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to crack this Lembas first. Cast the Refurb. They just discard a Mountain. Okay. I think we're going to swing. I'll trade this Refurb for the Epicure. And since we're turning the corner a little bit, hopefully we can just finish the game pretty quick here is the goal. There's a Robbery. They definitely didn't have that last turn, so that was their top deck. Sack a Mountain. Play a Gorge. I'm going to block just to be safe. I could take it, but theoretically, I mean, 1 damage when we're at 10 is a pretty big difference, because that means we die to 3 bolts / Alms of the Vein / Fiery Tempers that we otherwise wouldn't. There's a Hardcast Fiery Temper. Okay. I'm just going to crack this and then draw a card with the Wellspring, because I'd be happy to draw another Lembas. And we do. Play that. Cleansing Wildfire, not really necessary, but I mean, we have 4 basics. Just draws us, ramps us a little bit. Sure. Unless we get a Refurb, or a Blood Fountain, we're not going to be able to play anything this turn anyway. So I figure might as well keep the 2-mana Cycler that also, like, ramps us and I guess thins our deck, which isn't super relevant. They have a Lightning Bolt. Okay, but we're not dead. So let's crack a Lembas. Back to 10. Cleansing Wildfire. Grab our Mountain. Landscape. Let's Cleansing Wildfire. Grab our last basic. And Offering. We didn't actually play a land this turn. We're not holding up this mana for anything else, and I don't think I'm going to be sacking the Chrysalis. Maybe they throw 2 bolts at it, but I'm just going to go for this now, because I could definitely draw something to play. A land, or maybe a land and a Refurb. And if not, I could play this Landscape. I mean, Munitions is interesting. Munitions resolves we're going to win anyway. I might as well keep the Landscape in hand, but we just have to survive this turn. Vampire's Kiss, that's a pretty good one for them, because I assume they have a couple dead cards in hand. Snacker, that's one of them. And a Mountain. Faithless Looting. Lembas Bread, and look, more Lembas Bread. That's all I want to eat, so I'm happy with it. And they plot a Highway Robbery. Alright, we're going to get this one then. Play out our makeshift munitions, attack for 4, and start throwing things. Imagine Sam and Frodo's life totals. They'd be so high. Play a Wellspring, throw that, and then we'll throw Blood Fountain tokens. I could throw lands, obviously, but I want to preserve my beautiful lands. Alright, we take that one. We get Weather the Storm from the sideboard and Macabres for cast down. Munitions won us the game there, but it's generally very slow and not really the best. And Fungal Colossus does seem a little awkward in this one, but it does combo with the Reckoner's Bargain, so I think we'll keep it in. Obviously, that's the main thing we're trying out, so I could see it being a cut for this opponent, but I think we'll just see how it does. Frodo had 2 life and 9 poison. That's what the ring does to you. Updated ring's going to give poison counters. This hand's not exceptional by any means, but we have some artifacts we can play for 2 mana to hopefully find us red mana and just different lands. I have grab the prize with the Looting. Another Wellspring. Oops, I meant to play the Lembas there. I think I clicked like right in between and missed a little bit. Didn't end up mattering, because that's actually, I would have kept that. So perfect, we preserved our scry. That was the goal the whole time. I would love to get like a Fanatical Offering so that I could hold up this Weather the Storm and also an Offering, because if I just hold up Weather the Storm now, then if they don't cast enough spells, it's going to be a waste. But if I don't hold it up, I could just die. I'm probably not going to die this turn, to be fair. Like 14's pretty a good amount, but if they go with like a Faithless Looting into double Madness spell, I would love to have the Weather up. If I had properly played the Lembas, then I could hold that up. So that was probably a mistake. Reckoner's Bargain. I think we're going to keep that. Although it's not looking like something we're going to actually be able to cast on a Colossus, but it still just draws us 3 and gains us 2 off a Wellspring. And if we're lucky enough to draw a land, it could be okay. So much life gain. Yeah, I mean, the question is, can we actually deploy it before we die? But yes, this, like I said, this deck is made to survive the burn decks, ideally. Okay, they just Epic here, Highway Robbery, that's a good sign. And since they did this with the Robbery, it's a great turn to leave up a Weather the Storm. And we get a Vault. Okay, this is perfect. So I can Cleansing Wildfire, pulling out our green Snow-Covered Forest. These guys are going to only cost 2 next turn, and if I get a random different land, it would only be 1. Oh, Wildfire could make it 1 next turn. And then I also get to hold up Weather and Reckoner's Bargain and Lembas. So we'll hopefully survive this turn and then get down a couple 5/5s. There's the Robbery, discarding an Alms the Vein. Cool, we're going to let that resolve. I would love for them to cast like 2 more spells. Faithless into Double Madness would be great. Swing for 1. By taking this, I do technically put myself dead to triple Lightning Bolt if I then try to crack a Lembas at end step. I think I'm going to take that chance, hoping that they cast more stuff for Weather the Storm. So now do I Weather for 9 life? Not the most ever, but a good amount. We have a lot of other life gain. I think we do just go for the Weather. We don't need this to be the best Weather the Storm ever if we just have some good other life gain from other stuff. And now we can Wildfire on here. Make sure I'm doing this right. We're going to grab our Mountain, and now I have 1 mana Colossus, 2 of them, and then, I mean, we're not doing anything with this mana, but now we just have, like, a pretty fast clock on them. I honestly think, if you're playing Colossus, I mean, I already think this kind of with Gixie and Infiltrator, but I kind of think that an Unexpected Fangs wouldn't be unreasonable as, like, a one-of in the deck, especially if the deck is built to beat Burn. Occasionally, it's going to be a dead card, of course, but anytime you go up against Burn, it can go on Chrysalis or Colossus, which is 8 really good targets, and even on a refurb it can be okay. Generally, when you're doing Krark, you already have like Toxin Analysis, so you don't need the Unexpected Fangs as much, but if we're not doing that, I kind of like a Fangs here. And we get Fairy Macabre. They have 2 Faithless in the graveyard. I don't think I need to exile those, though. They already have so many blood tokens and stuff. Bodies of Terror, too. Pretty solid. Yeah, exactly. These guys already go toe-to-toe with the Terror, but then that can make it so it eats 1, which would be sweet. I do think in this game right here, these Colossus are way better than the Gixian, because the Gixian Infiltrators would die easier, and they were 2 mana, so it'd be a lot harder to fit into our curve. Now, this is because we had 2 Cleansing Wildfires to make it so that it was easier to actually cast our guys. So I'm not saying, like, oh, they're always amazing, but I think in this game it would have been better. Or it is better to have had these guys. And what are we doing here? Probably just playing a Lembas, holding up Reckoners or cracking a Lembas or something. We'll keep a offering. Hello, Leon. How's it going? There's a Highway Robbery. And of course, I can bargain away a Colossus if I really need the 7 life. I think we're looking fine here, but I will not be afraid to do that if we need to. Or if they're about to Dark Withering one of them, I will certainly bargain it then. They go for the Chrysalis. Why'd they do that? This, of course, destroy target non-black creature, madness for black. They're doing that because they might have like a Kitchen Imp. It's still 4 life to gain from the bargain on there. Yeah, I guess I'll do it, but I wanted them to blow up one of these guys, so I'd gain 3 more life. They have another draw too, it looks like. Yeah, Brew with an Alms of the Vein. So we're down to 15. They're at 20. Swing. Oh, Spellbomb's not a bad draw. We're just going to swing for 10, make him discard a card. They have 2 Faithless in the graveyard. I think we'll take those away. We have the Macabre if they get a Snacker. And they do have a million blood tokens, but these they have to use more proactively. They have to choose to discard first, whereas the Faithless, they can just do a little more blindly. Yeah. And sure, we'll play a Wellspring. I think we're going to be A-okay here. We have a Galvanic Blast for creature. We have a Lembas for more life. We just have an offering for card draw. Grab the prize with a Kitchen Imp. Not bad. And a Fiery Temper, which is going at us. Barons down to 8, but they got 1 mana left. They can't attack or they die. Okay. Well, they don't know that they're dead then because of the Galvanic, but they will be. I'll block here. Go for an offering. Oh, nice. We even get a Weather the Storm. Blast the Epicure. Swing for 10. All right, got there against Rakdos Madness, and I kind of liked the Colossus there, I gotta say. They were pretty sweet. Yeah, it seems real solid. Yeah, I think it's all right. Definitely more testing to be done. We're on the play here, and a real awkward hand. Nothing to sack with the bargain. nothing to cast the Wildfire on or with, we got a mulligan that. This one's good. Good enough anyway. Question is, do we get rid of munitions? Some matchups it's really good. It doesn't look like it's going to be the best in our current hand, just because we don't have any fodder to throw around at the moment. So I think we'll get rid of it. But obviously if we go up against fairies or elves or something, we might regret it. But don't worry, we're in a terror-only meta, so... I could go for the Wildfire. It gets spell pierced or force spiked even, but I think it's worth going for. Trying to get something going here. Going with the Colossus deck, very spicy. Yeah, thought it'd be a sweet one to try. What do we need? More green mana. I think we'll just go... Yeah, I already have 2 black. Oh, but I can get more green with the landscape I have. Yeah, I'll just grab a swamp. All right, there's a Colossus. Oh, by not having green here, I can't play a Colossus this turn. Well, that was maybe a mistake. We already have a Jund player at my LGS. I wouldn't mind playing this. Yeah, I mean, I was playing Jund, just the traditional, or whatever you want to call it, for, the better part of the last year. And then the Gixian version came out, and so, like a month or so ago, I updated it. I haven't tried the Colossus version enough to know if I would want to update it again, but it is possible. I'll need to keep evolving it. So, all right. The good news is I probably wouldn't want to play a Colossus into this open counterspell mana anyway, even if I had grabbed the green last turn, so... Consider into a Snacker. Okay, so they could just be mono blue with Snacker, because people are trying that out with abandoned attachments, or it could be Dimir. And the Consider makes me think mono blue, probably. And Snacker's coming back, because of the Brainstorm. Pretty good. I could kill it again, but that doesn't seem great. I got fogged on Twitch. My messages show only via highlight. Well, at least they're extra special that way. Taking 2 from the Snacker here. Really could use like a Wellspring or some sort of artifact I could sacrifice. Always with the positive vibe. I do my best. I think we'll sack this to grab a little more green. They're going to boomerang? Sure. I mean, that might mean I could... so I could let this go through, and then I just replay the bridge, and I could play the Colossus for 3 mana. If they don't have a force spike, we'd be fine. Or I could just... I probably should take this opportunity to sacrifice the bridge, because they could spell pierce this or whatever, but that's fine. But like I said, I was asking for an artifact to be expendable, and they allowed me to make one of my lands expendable here. Plus, we already have our next land drop. It's not going to be one to reduce the Colossus, but we're not missing lands at least. Pretty happy with that exchange, honestly. All right, so yeah, now we get a Lembas. I could also play Vault and then just play the Colossus. I don't want to be casting it for 3, though. I think that's kind of a waste. So I think we're probably playing Lembas and holding up one of these. Maybe I should just cast one of these now. They didn't counter the other one, so they're probably not going to counter this one. Don't really need another land at the moment. Refurb's less mana efficient. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go for an Offering. They do have the Force Spike. Oh, we had a mana up. Okay, fair enough. I was like, why wouldn't they Force Spike the other one? But we had 3 mana, I believe. Did we? I don't know. In any case, I'm pretty happy with that. They attack him with the Snacker. They do have 5 spells in their grave, so we could definitely see a couple terrors, which would be problematic. There's a Serpent. Okay, that I can cast down. All right, that's not the worst. I can cast down. If we get another different land, which I realize I just turned away with the Lembas, I could play Colossus here. Ooh, Spellbomb's pretty decent too. Although, if I just go for cast down Spellbomb, we're still taking 8. That's a lot. I could refurb, see what they discard, cast down. Theoretically, I could trade the refurb for the Snacker and then Spellbomb. But if they have more terrors, they could just play them first, and we're probably going to die if more terrors come down. And this Colossus is still 3, even if I play the bridge. So I could play Colossus and refurb. That's not the best. It's not the worst either. I think I'm playing refurb either way. So let's just start with that, see what they discard. Sleep of the Dead. Yeah, probably got to Spellbomb that. And I want to do this while they're all tapped out. So I'm going to cast down Bomb for green, refurb black, then cast down 1. Yeah, that's what I'm going to end up doing here. I didn't necessarily want to crack the Spellbomb without drawing a card, but especially with the Sleep of the Dead, we're going to have to. I mean, we're not in a terrible spot. If we trade this and ideally they can't bring the Snacker back right away, then we get a Colossus down to block here. Maybe we're alright. Consider an island into the yard. I could also just chump the Serpent to gain some life. I mean, they already considered, so what are the chances that they can just draw a single card with the Snacker? Almost 100%, which means it's probably a waste to block here. So I should either not block, or I should chump. And if I don't block and then they get a Sleep of the Dead, it's pretty bad. But I kind of don't want to throw away this refurb right now, so we'll just take 8. Seems great. Play an island. They got something they were going to play. Okay, if I play that, this guy costs 2, so then I can hold up Insight and Lembas. Or I could just crack the Lembas with the Insight right now, look for removal, Spellbomb, creatures because I can play a Chrysalis. Yeah, I kind of think that's better. Let's just try to draw 2. And if they have a counterspell, it's not the end of the world. It's not obviously my favorite. All right, they let that resolve though. We find Refurb Bargain. Bargain's good. Okay. I don't think we're going to bargain this turn though. By refurbing, they're down to 1 card. It also gives us a 3rd blocker. So even like a sleep or whatever is not going to kill us here. Discard a Serpent. Colossus. I'm just going to hold back. We're definitely the late game deck in general, but certainly here, if we just survive between the bargain and the Eviscerator's Insight in our graveyard, we should be able to win. So we don't need to like attack them for 2 for no reason. I'll certainly make trades here. I mean, Snacker's still a little annoying. They boomerang the Colossus. Okay, I'm just going to block both then. I mean, they could have a Brainstorm or whatever, and we're not sacking to like a bargain, so it's not my favorite, but we can't really afford to take all of it. I could just take 2, but then we're dead to 1 Cryptic Serpent if they play like Artful Dodge or something. I mean, we have the bargain. We have bargain. I probably should hold up bargain. Yeah, okay, let's just block like this. Not Nick, 420, subscribed with Prime. Thanks for that, Not Nick. Still can't figure out who you are, but I appreciate it. I hope the Hedron serves you well. All right, we're going to get a mountain here. No, I should get a forest, because if I top deck a Chrysalis, I would like to play both that and the Colossus. Bridge makes this 1 mana, which means I can hold up Eviscerator's Insight or Bargain. Okay, no counterspell. If they have like another Boomerang, then I might just bargain this in response so that we gain 7. They don't yet, though. I think if they just attack, like I'm trading these for sure. I think I want to block and go for the bargain. It's less mana efficient, but the 4 life is decent. I guess I should just block and go for Eviscerators. I'm trying to figure out. I feel like they probably will have another creature here. I could just Eviscerators inside a land. I feel like the Snacker's going to come back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go for this. I guess this gets countered by a Force Spike, which would be kind of annoying, but it does not. They do have a Terror. Yep. There's a Wellspring. Okay. I mean, Wellspring plus Bargain leaves us not dead. Obviously, we would love to find, like, a Cast Down. That's great. Okay. So, 6 mana, so I can bargain and then also Cast Down. So let's bargain first. Because if I get like a Chrysalis, I could play that and not Cast Down, obviously. I don't know if I'd want to, but we're going to do this. Cast Down. All right, now we're just looking at a Snacker. We have some decent card draw in hand. They're swinging for 2. And they have another Serpent. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We do have 1 basic left. So I think I probably start with the Wildfire. No, I mean, we're just dead to this, right? So we need to find something ASAP. I don't want to dirtle with the Wildfire. Let's play a Lembas. I mean, Lembases can keep us alive, but I really need to find more removal or creatures. That's not either of those, nor is that. All right, another Lembas. Could still cast a Chrysalis. Wellspring is not what I need at the moment. Refurb is a blocker. Okay, so now I'm going to Cleansing Wildfire. Actually, no, I ended up drawing my basic, of course. So I should have started with the Wildfire. I still think it was probably right to do what I did, but that's really annoying. Because now this just is 2 mana cycle, but I might as well. 1 Lembas can keep us alive. So yeah, let's do this. Sure, I'll search. Look at that, no basics. Another landscape. Play Refurb, take their card. I'm assuming it's another Serpent. Oh, Snacker, sure, yeah. They couldn't play it. Yeah, let me help you out with that real quick. Perfect. I kind of want to block the Snacker, hope they don't have a way to draw 3, because if they do, we're screwed. And then I Lembas here. But then we do die next turn, because even with just another Lembas, like if I don't draw anything, but I have 2 more redraws with these landscapes. It's either that or I chump the Serpent. Okay, hello. It's either that or I jump the Serpent, but I'm taking 2. I'm gonna block the Snacker here. Go for the Lembas. Like, if I just find a Cast Down, or which I guess I only have 1 left, but I have 4 Chris in the deck in the last 30 cards. I have, what, 3 more Colossus? There's 1 of them. Red, black, green, offering. All right, we're gonna sack this vault. If they want to counter this, then at least our Colossus resolves and we don't die. Okay. Wildfire is irrelevant. We do get a Cast Down, though. So let's hope that resolves. Why am I tapping this one? Let's Cast Down. I should do this in their upkeep, probably, but it also just lets me know if I can, like, tap out for this Wildfire or if I need to leave up the Lembas, although I guess the Lembas doesn't, again, it didn't keep us alive. Yeah, let's just Wildfire to cycle. Yep. Okay, so their card... Another Colossus, which we already played a land. So their card is not a cantrip. Oh, they're going to cast it? It is a cantrip. Oh. Yes. It's a Brainstorm. They had 2 Snackers. We didn't hold up the Lembas, so we're going to die to Snackers. I was thinking if it was a Brainstorm, they would have cast it during their turn, because why wouldn't they? But I guess that makes sense. So I should have left up the Lembas and not done the Wildfire. I mean, this would still be a hard spot to get out of, but that was kind of stupid that I didn't think about that. Okay, well, we get the Macabres. I think it's just Mono Blue Terror with Snackers, so I think it's just those guys. For munitions and this. Well, definitely an unfortunate way to die, but we should have played around it, so that's fair. Hello, Trash Man from 99. How's it going? Felt like we'd held on so well that game, too. That been unfortunate to die that way, but like I said, if we had left with the Lembas, we'd still go to 2. We'd need to find 2 removal spells, blockers, or life gain with like 2 cards to draw. I don't know. We could have gotten there, but it would have been tough. Turn 2 Wellspring, and that's kind of it. I mean, Cast Down's good. Macabre's decent. I guess we'll try this. Hope to not get Force Spiked on the Wellspring, or Steel Sabotaged. Chris, or just annulled, obviously. Like, no counter magic. Okay, that's not fair. That's illegal, I'm pretty sure, but so be it. That is not castable, nor is this. So let's pass. They go for a Brainstorm, then they're going to Mental Note, I assume. Which we might just have to Fairy Macabre 2 random spells if they do that, because otherwise they could play a Terror right away. And if it is an actual Terror, then I can't really do much about it. But okay, they didn't. Didn't Mental Note. Pass. Getting green with this at the moment doesn't do anything, except makes it green, so if I draw 2 drop. Yeah, I mean, we're going to want green at some point. We'll just get it, I suppose. Lembas. I'd be surprised if this resolved. Force Spike. There it is. Alright, there's the Thought Scour. So that's 5 spells and a Thought Scour. It's way too many spells to Fairy Macabre away now, unfortunately. You know, generally I have no problem playing against Mono Blue Terror, but I feel like every opponent I've played against recently has had kind of the nuts. I mean, that's annoying. Maybe no Terror right here. But like so many times I've seen like 2 Terrors on turn 3 recently. There's one. One's still pretty bad. Perfect. Now we draw the Wildfire. Impeccable timing. I guess that's just how it goes. Alright, we're taking 5. Another Terror. Alright, let's walk into a Boomerang here. Seems like a good time to me. Just a counter spell. I mean, even just that's gonna kill us. I do believe we're down to 10, or 5 even. Let's sacrifice this bridge. This will definitely get us there. Oh, perfect. We hit a land drop. Alright, we lost a Terror. I wish our 1 mana 5/5 was as good as theirs. I mean, a deck brewed entirely around Fungal Colossus to like ramp out as many different lands as possible. That could be kind of funny. Problem is, I don't think there are any other cards that do the same type of thing. So like, you'd have to. It'd be tough getting redundancy. That could be cool. I hate Blue Terror. Yeah, it's not my least favorite deck to play against. To be fair, like it can have some annoying draws, but I think there are far worse things to play against. Alright, up against some mono red. There's our Colossus. There's a domain list that runs them. I think that's the closest I can think of. Yeah, I guess that's probably what I would be envisioning. That makes sense. Could be kind of cool. Highway Robbery. They have a Snacker. What? We were just playing against a mono blue deck that had a Snacker. How does this mono red deck have Snacker too? That's crazy. Hey, how's it going, Natalino? Alright, well, we're wildfiring, getting more black here, I think. Every deck will have a Snacker eventually. That's what I'm saying. Bajuga Bog. Yeah, once we get like a white Rafine's Informant that discards first and then draws, then we'll get a white one. Rumble, Grave Snacker, Bequeathal to Revive. That'd be pretty funny. Snacker ban incoming. It wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world, but I'm not currently anticipating that. Kind of wish we had removal for this Flame Breather. As is, we also don't have enough artifacts. I could play 1 Refurb this turn. Feels like I gotta do this. Snacker's in my top 3 ban cards after Island. Island definitely has seen its time. It needs to go. There's a Blood Fountain. It's just a 2/1 flyer for 2. I don't understand why everyone complains about it. If you just don't read the other line of text, like it's not even a big deal. Alright, we're down to 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 9, 7. So we're dead to 2 spells here. We're dead to 1 spell here. I guess it'd have to be a Fire Blast, but could be. Cleansing Wildfire. Okay, I could keep going. We have Reckoner's Bargain, and I have a 1-mana Colossus. I guess or a 2-mana Colossus. I could make it a 1-mana Colossus if I Cleansing, or I could just double Refurb and hold up those for the bargain. Or I could split the difference. Let's do 2-mana Colossus, then a Refurb, and then hold up Bargain and see if we can survive here. I'm feeling a new deck, either Dimir Spirits or Landfall. I mostly play Black Sack and Azorius Gates. Any thoughts? I don't know. I think both of those decks sound sweet. I've played Dimir Spirits a few times, and I think there's some real potential there. I think it's probably one or two, really good cards being printed from it being like busted, but I think it's a solid deck for sure, and very fun. I was a little afraid of that, although they just have a blood fountain, or a blood token, so this was happening regardless. But now I have to just like bargain away the Colossus right now, which means I lose my blocker, which I was hoping to have. But I think we have to. I guess this could give me a land to... They have something else? Oh, Bolt? Oh, okay. They were 1 mana short of doing all this on their turn. Okay, gotcha. This doesn't kill us here, but it does put us really low. Get our other Colossus. Yeah, because we go to 6, and then Dart puts us to 3. Oh, and then we can block Snacker, and we died everything else. That's unfortunate. Or they just Lava Dart this, and they attack for 4, 5. So, yeah, I don't know. Dimir Spirits is great. I was just watching Kerblinski's video on the Landfall deck, though, and it looks pretty sweet, too. So, yeah, I like the sound of either of those decks, whichever one speaks to you. They both are kind of aggressive, mid-range kind of decks. Landfall's probably more aggro, but Dimir Spirit's definitely more mid-range and value-oriented, which sounds like kind of what you want. I mean, I guess Black Sack's aggro, Azorius Gates is kind of control, but they're both attacking. So, like, Dimir Spirits would probably be the most different because it's more mid-range, but, like, I don't know. I think you do whichever one speaks to you more. What are we getting rid of? Munitions. Red Madness plus Mono Blue Terror being 30% of the meta is kind of... oof. It's not my favorite. I wish it was a little bit more diverse, but as on the whole, we have a much more diverse meta than most others, so it's not as bad as it could be. Don't really know what to cut. I want to keep the removal for the pingers. Obviously, we want to bring in life gain and keep our life gain, and also graveyard hate. I guess blood fountains are not super necessary. They're not often killing these guys. And then refurbs can be a liability. I don't think it's a reason to cut like a million of them, but like... I don't know. We'll do something like that. All right, on the play here. And this hand is fine. The mono black, I feel like our mana's been a lot worse than usual with Jund, even though this mana base is exactly the same as usual. But like, I've had so many monocolor hands from just the land, and then obviously like red and green spells like this. But our mana base is just the normal that I always play, so I'm a little confused. There's a looting. Double Snacker. Give me a bog off the top, please. Oh god, and that's so awkward. Like, I want to play that, because then I can open up Wildfire, but then I don't play a 2-drop here. So I could just play Wellspring, and then next turn I could do this, and then bargain this away, but I probably want to get the Wildfires going. Just wish that was in my opening hand, Pretty unfortunate. Grab the prize. Discarding a mountain, not even getting damage. How embarrassing. Cast down. We're just going to do this. Get our mountain, I think. Landscape. Play that because I'm going to crack it. And we don't have a 1-drop to play. We have a Gutter Snipe. Well, we have a cast down for that. So probably cast down and Colossus this turn. Sack this for green, I suppose. Oh yeah, I can Wildfire, Colossus, and cast down. Seems good. Currently not doing anything about the Snackers, which is not my favorite, but what are you going to do? We can Wildfire this. We need to get Snow-Covered Swamp. And then I got my 1 mana, 5/5, which can also gain me 7 life if I needed to. Swing for 4. Grab the prize with the Fiery Temper. Down to 7. Okay, we're not dead. I was going to say, they could just bolt and fire blast. We'd be out of here. Play Wellspring. I think I just got to attack and then sack this guy for 7 life, because we are almost dead already. I mean, another bargain and a Colossus, which I can play this turn. Although I'd have to play this landscape that I probably want to cycle. I think probably shouldn't need this bargain this turn. So let's just play a bridge and pass. Here's hoping. Swing for 4. There's a looting. Discard double mountain. And plot a robbery. Okay, spell bomb. I just need to find a way to kill these Snackers now. I feel like I just bargained this away again. Keep gaining life. There's Chris. Cast this guy, and they have, let's see, 2 Faithless Legions in the grave. Not really enough for me to want to spellbomb right now, especially with the Snackers right on board. But this will probably deter them from attacking, because not only, like, they could swing in for 2, and if they could just flashback a Faithless Looting, get their Snacker back, then they'd probably be fine to do that. But now I'll be able to spellbomb that Snacker away. They just cast in the fire right now. Fair enough. I suppose I will crack it. Draw a card. There we go. I can gain at least 9 life with that on just my next turn. Oh, well, I meant to block. Apparently I pressed 1. Classic. I would have blocked even if they just bolt the Chris. I was fine with that. But, I mean, this meant they plotted the robbery. Not the worst thing ever, I guess. Let's cast Lembus. And if we can find another Chris, then, like, keeping this guy alive will be nice. Bachuka Bog, but we don't have a way to kill these. I think we're just going to get rid of that. It's poetry. It's It's absolutely beautiful. All right, well, let's Wildfire. I think we're just going to probably weather here on our turn. Well, I don't really want to cast down a snacker, so I don't know. It depends on what we draw here. Refurb, there we go. So, refurb. We did get 2 attacks in with those Colossies. Actually, they're at 10. I can hit them down to, like, what is that, 6? Yeah, I don't need to cast this down. I think we'll cast down their, we'll save it for, like, a Gutter Snipe. Crack this Lembas, hit for 4, and then, yeah, just weather the storm back to 28. They only have 1 card in hand. Feels like it's going to be pretty tough for them to come back from this. They do have a Robbery in Exile, to be fair. There's the Gutter Snipe. I guess we could die from here, for sure. I could have held up the cast down instead of cracking the Lembas. I cracked the Lembas because I wanted to use the spawn to get in for an extra damage, but that probably wasn't necessary. So I could have had cast down up for right here. So we'll see if I made a mistake. I mean, I think it might have been a mistake regardless, but we'll see if I die because of it. Do they have 2 robberies plotted? Oh. Well, I had forgotten about that. Then there's a very large possibility we could die. There's a Flame Breather. If a Lava Dart, so we're at 20. They Lava Dart this, so we're at... So 21. 2 darts from the grave is 8. 12. So they have to deal 9. 1 Fire Blast only does 7. And then they wouldn't have any more lands. So I don't think we're dead, but we're kind of close. There's the Fire Blast. I mean, unless I did my math wrong, but yeah, 2 Lava Darts is only 8. Okay, we're alive. I'm going to cast this down first because they might end up sacking some lands to the darts, in which case if I then come back with life gain, hopefully they will be less likely to be able to survive. Okay, they don't. Cast a Lembas. I think we'll crack it. Give us the best chance to draw it again. Although with the Gutter Snipe dead, I'm not feeling too poorly. With that on the bottom, Weather the Storm, that can gain us 9. So if I attack here, they can hit us for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But this can gain us 9, so that offsets it, so we're still at 13. Yeah, I think we can swing then. And then obviously they're not going to just Lava Dart here. But I'm just going to do it now for safety. It seems unlikely they're going to cast more than 2 spells on their turn. 2 spells that I don't need to react with the Weather the Storm like earlier for. They're going to swing for 3 and grab the prize, discarding a Robbery. So if I can find removal for the Snacker, I can just get in for lethal, or like a Galvanic Blast would do it. We have just 1 draw for that. Okay, we have just 1 draw for that. Okay, well, that's another lethal attacker, so not the worst. Play that and pass. Grab the prize, discarding a Flame Breather. Get back the Snacker. We're going to have to chump with both of these, which is pretty nice, though. All right, so we win that game. I mean, I could bring in Hydra just to have a Trampler. Like, these guys not having Trample is a real bummer. But I think it's probably fine. The plan of attacking with the Colossus and sacking it to gain 7 did work. We did that twice, gaining 14 life off of just those guys. Triple Wildfire, no bridges. Seems bad to me. All right, this one's fine. I think we're getting rid of the Colossus, though. Looks the most awkward here, even though it gains us the most life with the bargain. Like, Chrysalis just blocks the Snackers way better, obviously. Nothing for 2 mana. Okay. I can't play a Refurb here, so I'm just going to play this so I can get my green mana. All right. Pretty satisfied with them not casting anything here. We get a Wellspring. Yeah, I realized as soon as I cast it that I should have... There was no reason to play our land first, because I wasn't playing anything else with it anyway, and there's basically nothing I could have drawn that would have made a difference anyway, so we could have gotten a tap land down, and that makes a big difference. Well, maybe it doesn't make a big difference if we're not going to play Chrysalis next turn anyway. See, I knew it wouldn't matter. They plot a Robbery, they grab the prize with a Snacker on the other one. Sure. I'm just going to Refurb, discard while they don't have Madness up. They discard a Faithless Looting. They have a Robbery in Exile. I think we'll just take this for now. Refurb's probably better as like a way to gain 4 life with the bargain. Second Robbery plotted. Okay, well, let's actually remember that those are plotted this time. Ugh, this is awkward. I guess we want to bargain the Wellspring. I kind of want to leave up green to have a Weather the Storm. With 2 Robberies plotted, I'm kind of anticipating they might have like a Gutter Snipe to go next turn, but I just don't think I can cast nothing here. So if I hit an untapped land, I can play out that and hold up a Weather. If we don't, then we get nothing. And I just discard this Chris, because I can't imagine deploying all of those this game. I guess we'll block the Epic here. There's the first Robbery. Okay, so no Gutter Snipe yet. That's a good sign. Otherwise, they would have cast it first. Second Robbery. Discarding a Temper. Epicure. See, this is why I wanted Weather the Storm. We could have gained 15 here. I mean, they might not have cast... Oh, well, it looks like we're just dead. They certainly wouldn't have cast all of this if... Oh, I guess we're not dead, but... Yeah, I mean, I guess we should have just held up the Weather and the bargain, which was definitely the safer thing to do. I just thought that getting the land would be nice, but... I should have known we would never hit the land. Now it feels like we're probably dead no matter what we do. I could hold up a Weather the Storm. They're not going to cast anything, though. Could hold up a bargain. That's not going to gain us any life. Cast down doesn't do anything. I think legitimately our best bet is to just do this. Somehow they don't kill us, and then we have a little bit more mana to work with on this next turn. But, I mean, almost 100% we are going to die. I guess it was getting greedy. Going for the lands there. 3 cards to find 1 land. Doesn't seem too greedy, but we probably could have won. Or, well, we could have survived if we just didn't do that. Gutter Snipe. I assume they have anything at all to cast. Fire Blast will do. Alright, last round here. Hand's fine. We could really use a Wellspring, but we have lands. A lot of green sources, but we have lands, and then we have a turn 4 Colossus, I suppose. And of course, we play against one of the 2 decks in the format, red or blue. We don't currently have the artifacts for this Galvanic Blast. So if I cast this down and then they play like a Flame Breather, it might be kind of unfortunate, but we'll probably find the artifacts. It'll be fine. They grab the prize, discarding Faithless Looting, or we just get another cast down. Perfect. And Galvanic can still kill Gutter Snipe, so I wasn't that worried. If it couldn't kill Gutter Snipe, I would not have used the cast down there. I am just going to take this guy out, though. It will deal us some damage at some point, and I could cast a 3-mana Refurb, but I think I'd rather just get this guy down, because it's hard for them to kill, and it will kill them in a few turns if they don't have anything to say about it. They flashback Faithless Looting, discard a couple mountains, okay, not the worst. And they pass. We get a Munitions. Alright, swing for 5. Munitions doesn't do anything, so I'm just going to play a Refurb. Potentially give them a Fiery Temper Madness here. Oh, no, they're just flooded severely. Okay, that's good for us. This is a 2-turn clock with the Munitions to, like, finish them off for 1. So they got to do something. There's a Flame Breather, which I can kill. Although I'll probably let them block if they want to. I don't expect them to. But this way, I guess we'll see if they want to, like, kill the Refurb with anything. If not, they'll just take 7 down to 8. We only have 1 black mana. I think we just kill the Flame Breather and then play the Munitions rather than playing, like, a Refurb. They're going to bolt us down to 12 and another down to 8. And do they have the Fire Blast or something? Yes, they do. So that puts us to 3. They're out of cards, but they have 2 draws with the blood token. 2 draws to find another bolt or a Fire Blast. Not a Fire Blast. Well, that would work, yeah. Or a Fiery Temper was my point. All right, well, we'll play this and we'll see who top decks here. Well, we don't need a top deck. We just win if they don't get anything. But hi, I just wanted to say I've been a big fan for a while now, and yesterday I started playing for the first time online. Bought my first deck, which is your stock list of Black Sack without Snuffouts, and Spinning Darkness for budget reasons, and it's been a really fun deck. Keep it up, love the content. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Glad that you've been able to start playing online, and Black Sack's great. If you need to do a budget version without the Snuffouts and Spinning Darkness, which are upsettingly outrageously expensive, that's totally fine. Just replace them with Tragic Slips, I would say, and then if you have additional slots, because Tragic Slips are often in the sideboard, you could do more Marauders for removal, because my stock list only runs 3. You could put a 4th in there. And we don't quite have lethal on them here. Yeah, I mean, just replace with Tragic Slips and it should work almost as well. Okay, we can't kill them because we have, like, if I play the Refurb, we only have 1 mana. We need to not die, so I'm actually going to just sack this Fungal Colossus to gain 7. We should not die here, and then we can kill them with the Munitions next turn. But yeah, thanks for the kind words, and I hope that you enjoy playing Black Sack. It is a very fun deck. Alright, we just have them dead now with the Munitions. That one went decently, and we'll just keep doing what we've been doing. Weather the Storm and Macabre for Munitions, Insight. It is obscene that the game was that close. Yeah, considering, I mean, we didn't have the best start by any means, but considering they had like 1,000,000 lands, yeah, it was pretty close because they just got to Bolt, Fire Blast, so 3 extra damage off the Flame Breather. Yeah, it was pretty crazy for sure. We'll cut the Blood Fountains, and what have we been cutting? We did like this before. Sure, let's do that. All right, we have Spellbomb and Macabre. We have Alembus, Bargain. Yeah, this hand looks pretty decent. Flame Breather's been in the format for a while, same as Gutter Snipe. Does Grab the Prize make all the difference? Yes and no. Grab the Prize is really, really good. I would say it's the best. Well, it's kind of tough to compare it to Robbery, which is also really, really good. But those are the best 2, like, discard and draw 2s in the format, probably, especially for this deck. But I think the thing is that, sure. We had, what am I trying to say? Kuldotha Rebirth was a busted deck and card. So when that was around, no one was looking for another really good red deck to, like, play, because they already had the best, not necessarily the best, a busted red deck. So once Kuldotha Rebirth was banned, people needed to find a new best red deck. And that's, I mean, in that time, people were seeing Mono Red Madness, Red Rally, which are the two main decks that emerged, but also Ping or Burn, which still sees a little bit of play, but a lot less than Madness. I kind of need lands as much as I want this cast down. That's not bad either, I guess. So those decks, Goblins made a bit of a resurgence for a little while, and there was a 5th mono red deck that had been going around for a little bit. But basically, the red deck splintered into all these different ones, and then as they got played more and more over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 months, people found out which ones were the best, which is Mono Red Madness is probably the best by a mile, but Red Rally is also really strong, and also Red Rally is the most red deck wins or spiritual successor to the Kuldotha Redbirth. Kuldotha Redbirth? Yes, that's the name of the deck. Kuldotha Rebirth deck. So people who liked that went on that, and then Mono Red Madness is more of a, a combo deck at this point. I'm going to use the Macabre here because I might want to try to get value with the Spellbomb, a card draw with the Spellbomb later. And Red Deck Win generally beat Mono Red Burn. Yes, that is true. That, in general, Red Red Madness is kind of the best red deck, but Red Rally actually beats it. So that's true. Oh my god, we have so much life gain in hand, but we need to find our lands to actually be able to use it. I could just crack this, but that doesn't do us any good. Yep, Swamp's good enough. I'm also not sure the situation is that much improved. Without Grab the Prize and Stacker, you took 17 damage in one turn with a single Flame Breather. Miscount 13. Yes, we took 13 damage. Well, we took 13 damage from a single Flame Breather. We took 13 damage from a Lightning Bolt, a Fire Blast, and a Flame Breather. 3 of that damage was from Flame Breather, and it's very good. I'm not saying it's not, but it wasn't just a Flame Breather hits the field and we take 13, right? So, yes and no. But yeah, Grab the Prize is good, but it's not what made the deck incredible. The thing about Pauper is it's very underexplored. I think there are probably lots more decks out there that are just not... We really need this card draw, so I'm just going to crack it. There are a lot more decks out there that just haven't been found yet. So this deck, nobody was looking for it because of Kuldotha Rebirth. And now that people needed a reason to look for it, they found it. So this deck's been viable for a very long time. It's just nobody needed it, and now when they did, it's become very, very good. All right, we're gonna Galvanic Blast this Gutter Snipe, probably take a bunch of damage in response. We gotta do it. We take 3 damage per spell in addition to whatever the spell itself deals. We do have a little bit of life gain. Okay, that's all they had, so they didn't have another bolt, or they would have used it. I could Reckoner's Bargain, which only gains us 1 less life on Alembus, and draws us some cards, but I could also just crack Alembus. I'm going to crack one of these landscapes for... what am I trying to say? I'm going to hold it for a green mana for sure. So next turn I can Weather the Storm. Probably one of these Reckoner's Bargains ends up getting used on the Colossus. I'm going to just crack this for the most life possible, and then crack this for green. I believe there's at least one Dragon's deck that is real. It might not be Simic, but there are too many good Dragons and Dragon-related spells. I think there could be a Dragon's deck, but I don't think it would be a Dragon Tribal, so to speak. I don't think it's going to... Maybe there's 1 or 2 cards that care about dragons that are going to get in there. Oh, that's a little annoying. Dragon, Fire, Breath Weapon, or whatever. But, there are a couple good dragons, but they just slot better in other decks right now. Hey, I saw your video on YouTube. Are you a fellow Esper Mage at heart? I see you trying to make Esper Affinity work better very often. Yeah, I like all the colors. I like playing all the colors in different types of decks. Esper Affinity has been one of my favorite decks to play for a little while now. Man, that Cast in the Fire is really annoying, because now I have all these bargains burning a hole in my hand that I just have to play a Fungo Colossus. But yeah, Esper Affinity is one of my main decks, and I certainly do play it a good amount. Good cards that happen to say dragon on them. If it just says dragon, as in it is a dragon, I think those decks can be fine, but it's not gonna... If they don't care about dragons in some way, the decks are fairies decks because they have Spellstutter who cares about fairies specifically, or elves decks because they care about elves. Dispelling Exile is one of them. Yeah, it seems like a fine counterspell. Epicure, we're down to 3 here. Not dead. Cracking this for our Snow-Covered Swamp. I guess, yeah, I could get the Forest and I could double Weather, but I think I'm gonna... Let's see. Chris is interesting. So we're dead to a Bolt here, but I have a Bargain and a Weather the Storm. So I could just attack with the Colossus, bargain it away. I gain 7 up to 10. I could Weather right there to gain 6, but I probably don't need to do that. I think we just attack and then bargain, cast down. Okay, so we're at 10. probably just cast on the Flame Breather. We shouldn't die from these two. And the next turn I can Lembas Weather, maybe. Okay, well, Fiery Temper with the Blood token was probably their best draw, so that's a little annoying. I mean, if they get a Fire Blast, we do die, actually. I think it was right to kill the guy, but that's annoying. Highway Robbery into a couple burn spells would do it as well. That also brings back Snacker, swing for 3, and yeah, if they have a Fire Blast, we're just dead. Pretty unfortunate. I mean, they got like literally the perfect draws there. Fiery Temper, dealt 3 damage and drew an extra card. Highway Robbery, drew into the Fire Blast. I could have held up a Weather the Storm there instead of killing the Flame Breather, but then we would have taken 4 down to 6. They would have cast the Fiery Temper down to 2. I would have weathered in response up to 8. We wouldn't have died. And with our hand, we'd probably be fine next turn. But, like, I think I gotta just chalk that up to them having the perfect draws at the end. All right, we have one more game. Let's try to get a semi-reasonable record. Yeah, this one's decent. We're on the play, so we can't get cast on the fire before we can get the Wildfire off. Got some card draw, some life gain. There's an Epicure. Weather's good. Obviously, we're grabbing green mana here. And if we're lucky, we can play a turn 3 Chris. If we top deck a land, perfect. All right. This is a nice start. Unless they cast in the fire, then we wouldn't be able to get the Chris. But they just plot a robbery. Play that. I could just crack for like a Wellspring or Lembas now, but I don't really need to. And it's possible I might cast 3 2-drops next turn, one of which is a Weather to gain 9. They're going to robbery right away. Fiery Temper to the face. Part of my issue is also having to find a home for these Avenging Hunters I bought into. I mean, Avenging Hunter is a highly playable card. You could play it in Ponza or Monsters. You could play it in Gardens. You could play it in Elves or Walls or Spy Walls. There's a lot of options. Another Chris. Okay, so I could play that. I think this is a pretty good draw. We just get to kind of go on the offensive here while also being defensive with all our guys. Then let's go for a Lembas because we haven't hit a land drop and I would like to. Or I could just Wellspring because I could then Offering. Do we think we're going to die from 15 life here? They don't have anything plotted. I don't think so. So let's play a Wellspring because then I can Offering. Because if I do think I could die, then... Which obviously, like, you know, I've said before, I don't think I could die like I just did. And then I did die. But that's fine. If I thought I could die, then I might want to hold up the bargain. But I think it's probably fine. Also, Chris is another sweet draw. All right. We do hit a land right at the end there. And I guess I'll just map. We either get a land or a little more damage. Lembas will leave on top. Swing for 7. And, yeah, they chump. That's totally reasonable. But we have 12 damage from these guys next turn. 16 if we cast our other Chrysalis first. They're going to Lava Dart us. And there's a Looting. Discard another Lava Dart, and they get a Temper. So that puts us to 11. Double Lava Dart down to 9. But they're missing on land. Okay, so... so I could just... I mean, we have like them dead in just a turn or two here, so I think we just try to survive. So hold up a Weather the Storm and a Lembas. Let's just play a Lembas, see if we can find a land. It's tapped, but that's fine. Actually, that lets us cast a Refurb right here. That's not bad at all. Attack for 12, and then I could Weather right now just to gain a bunch. I think, let's see, if they get like a Gutter Snipe, Lava Dart is 6. But then they couldn't Fire Blast, or they could Lava Dart, Fire Blast, which is 9. But I can respond with the Weather. I think we just pass. Most of those involve buying Breath Weapon or Snuff Out, except for Elves. Yeah, I mean, that is fair. Fiery Temper to the face. All right, and we get that last game. Only ended up with the 2-3 with the deck. I mean, of course, we had a couple misplays, because I don't like to play perfectly. I don't want to flex too much, you know. Colossus had some awkward draws for sure, where it would have been better as a Gixien Infiltrator or just about anything else. But it did have some games where it was pretty relevant. Some of the Rakdos Madness game specifically stands out as one that, like, we had a bunch of 2-drops, so it would have been hard to fit the Gixien Infiltrators into our curve. And then we had Wildfires, which made it so we could actually on turn 4 cast 2 Colossus, which was really sweet. And then we had another game against, I think it was Mono Red Madness, where Reckoner's Bargain on the Colossus twice gained us 14 life, and then ended up winning us that game. So I definitely think there's something to this. Definitely feels a little clunky at the moment, but that's not to say that it couldn't be better. Yeah, I kind of think there's something sweet about this, for sure. Maybe it just needs more ways to Wildfire, or like, not Wildfire, but like ramp more lands in some way. I'm not saying put rampant growth in here, but like If we had 8 ways to Wildfire or something like this, then I could see it being a lot more consistent. Whereas right now, it feels a little tough. So, yeah, I think those are my thoughts on that. We're definitely going to do another league here. We're going to be playing a different deck, but if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.